Folks, here's something that'll blow your mind. A European truck can legally haul 3 times more weight than an American big rig. But how's that even possible when our trucks look so much bigger? Now, before we dive deep into this trucking mystery, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we're about to uncover some eye-opening truths about the trucking industry that most Americans don't know. You've probably seen those massive American 18-wheelers rolling down the interstate, chrome bumpers gleaming, stacks smoking, looking like absolute beasts of the road. Meanwhile, European trucks might look smaller, more compact, almost modest by comparison. But here's the kicker. Those smaller European rigs are pulling loads that would make our American trucks illegal on every highway from coast to coast. So what's really going on here? Why can a truck in Germany or Sweden haul 120 tons while our biggest rigs max out at just 40 tons? The answer isn't what you'd expect, and it reveals some fascinating differences between how America and Europe approach trucking, infrastructure, and transportation policy. Let's start with the numbers that'll make your head spin. In America, we're proud of our big rigs, but federal law caps them at 80,000 pounds. That's about 40 tons total weight, including the truck itself. Now compare that to Europe, where a standard 5-axle truck can legally carry 88,000 pounds. But wait, it gets even more interesting. In Scandinavian countries like Sweden, Norway, and Finland, they're testing trucks that can haul up to 264,000 pounds. That's over 3 times what we allow here in the States. Your first thought might be, well, their roads must be built differently. And you'd be absolutely right. First major reason: regulatory framework. The first big difference comes down to how regulations are written and enforced. In Europe, most countries belong to the European Union, and they've created what they call harmonized standards. Imagine if all 50 states had to agree on one set of trucking rules and then actually stuck to them. That's essentially what Europe has done. The EU directive sets baseline weights, but here's where it gets interesting. Individual countries can go higher for specific situations. Those Scandinavian countries I mentioned, they're not breaking rules. They're using special permits for specific routes and cargo types. It's like having a system where exceptions are built into the framework rather than fought against it. Meanwhile, here in America, our Federal Highway Administration sets the 80,000-pound limit for interstate highways, and that's pretty much set in stone. States can't just decide to allow heavier trucks on federal highways, even if their roads could handle it. Second major reason: infrastructure design. Now let's talk about roads, because this is where things get really interesting. European highways, what they call motorways, are engineered from the ground up to handle these heavier loads. We're talking about advanced engineering techniques, specialized materials, and construction methods specifically designed for trucks carrying massive weights. But here's what most folks don't realize about American infrastructure. Yes, our interstate highway system is incredibly robust. It was built to move military equipment across the country if needed. But we've got something Europe doesn't have to deal with: an absolutely massive network of secondary and rural roads. Think about it this way. Europe's major economic centers are relatively close together, connected by these heavy-duty motorways. But in America, freight needs to get from Los Angeles to a small town in Montana, or from a port in Houston to a factory in rural Ohio. That means Our trucks don't just travel on those robust interstate highways. They need to use thousands of miles of roads that were never designed for extremely heavy vehicles. It's like the difference between having a few really strong bridges versus having thousands of bridges that need to be strong enough for everyday use. The engineering priorities are completely different. Third major reason, economic considerations. Here's where the economics get fascinating, and this might surprise you. In Europe, allowing heavier trucks actually makes tremendous economic sense because of how their continent is laid out. Their major cities and industrial centers are packed relatively close together. When you can put more cargo on each truck, you need fewer trips between, say, Hamburg and Amsterdam. Fewer trips means lower transportation costs, less fuel consumption, and reduced emissions per ton of cargo moved. It's basic efficiency math, and it works beautifully when your distances are shorter and your destinations are predictable. But America's economic geography is completely different. We're moving freight across vast distances, sometimes 2,000 miles or more. We've got cargo going from major ports to distribution centers, then to smaller regional hubs, then to local destinations. Our logistics network has to be incredibly flexible because our country is so geographically diverse. Here's the thing most people miss. Our 80,000-pound limit isn't just about road capacity. It's about maintaining compatibility across our entire transportation system. That weight limit ensures that truckloads can be efficiently transferred to rail cars for long-distance hauls, or that they can navigate the thousands of smaller roads and bridges that connect rural America to the main transportation arteries. Fourth major reason, logistical requirements. Speaking of logistics, this is where Europe has created something pretty remarkable. They've built what's called an intermodal transport system that seamlessly connects roads, railways, and waterways. Picture this. A container can move from a ship in Rotterdam to a train, then to a truck, then back to a train, all with minimal handling and maximum efficiency. This interconnected system is designed so that each mode of transport plays to its strengths. Heavy, long-distance hauling goes by rail or water. Shorter distances and final delivery go by truck. The heavier weight limits for trucks make sense because they're often just one piece of a larger coordinated transportation puzzle. Now, America has an incredible rail network, arguably the best freight rail system in the world. But our approach is different. We rely heavily on trucking for both long and short distances, and our rail system, while extensive, operates somewhat independently from our trucking network. Our 80,000-pound limit keeps truckloads manageable for both road and rail transport. It ensures that when freight does need to transfer between modes, the weights and dimensions work across the entire system. It's about maintaining flexibility in a transportation network that covers a continent. Fifth major reason, safety and environmental considerations. Now we get to the part that might make some folks uncomfortable, but it's crucial to understand. In Europe, those heavier trucks come with some serious restrictions that we don't have here in America. First, speed limits. European trucks are typically limited to about 56 miles per hour, and in many countries, they can't exceed 50 miles per hour. Compare that to American highways where trucks can legally travel 70, 75, even 80 miles per hour in some states. Here's why this matters. Stopping distance increases exponentially with both weight and speed. A heavier truck traveling at lower speeds can actually be safer than a lighter truck traveling at higher speeds. European regulations recognize this trade-off and manage it through strict speed controls. But in America, our transportation system is built around higher speeds. Our distances are longer, our delivery schedules are tighter, and our entire logistics network assumes that trucks can maintain highway speeds. Allowing much heavier trucks while maintaining our current speed limits would create serious safety concerns. There's also the matter of driver training and vehicle technology. European truck drivers go through more extensive training programs, and their trucks are required to have advanced safety systems. Things like automatic emergency braking, stability control, and sophisticated monitoring systems. The environmental angle. Here's something that might surprise you. Those heavier European trucks can actually be more environmentally friendly per ton of cargo moved. When you can move more freight per trip, you reduce the total number of trips needed, which can lower overall emissions. But again, this works in Europe's context of shorter distances and lower speeds. In America, where trucks travel longer distances at higher speeds, the environmental equation is more complex. Our focus has been on improving fuel efficiency and reducing emissions through engine technology and aerodynamics, rather than simply increasing load capacity. Before we wrap this up, folks, if you're finding this as fascinating as I am, don't forget to subscribe. We dive deep into topics like this regularly, and there's always more to learn about how different countries approach transportation and infrastructure. The bigger picture. So, what does all this mean? It means that both systems, American and European, are actually optimized for their specific conditions and requirements. Europe's higher weight limits make perfect sense for their geography, infrastructure, and transportation needs. America's weight limits make sense for our vast distances, diverse road network, and different approach to logistics. It's not that one system is better than the other. They're different solutions to different challenges. Europe prioritizes maximizing load capacity on a sophisticated, interconnected network of heavy-duty routes. America prioritizes flexibility and compatibility across a vast, diverse transportation system that needs to serve everything from major metropolitan areas to remote rural communities. The surprising truth. But here's the real kicker that most people never consider. If you actually look at productivity per mile of road infrastructure, American trucking might be more efficient overall. We move an enormous amount of freight across vast distances using a transportation network that serves multiple purposes and reaches every corner of the continent. So there you have it, folks. The real story behind why European trucks can haul 3 times the weight of American trucks. It's not about who builds better trucks or who has better technology. It's about 2 different continents that have developed transportation systems perfectly suited to their unique geography, infrastructure, and economic needs. European trucks might carry heavier loads, but American trucks carry the backbone of a continental economy, and that's something to be proud of. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe for more deep dives into the fascinating world of transportation and infrastructure. As they say in trucking, keep the shiny side up and the rubber side down.